And truly, we'll never be able to have the right patience with one another if we don't have the right element and measure of patience with God. Now, dealing with God and dealing with our brothers and sisters, of course, is a total different thing in one way, but in another way, we are also measured by how we attribute our love to God by the way we treat one another. Now, when you or I are mean to God's people, or we will treat God's people bad, we don't look at it this way, but actually when you are mean toward a saint of God, or you tell lies, or you fabricate things against the children of God, you might as well have done it against the Lord Jesus. Now, you see, in our minds, we think, well, I treat him with so much devotion and so much love, and I love him so much, but I don't like his people. I don't like. And somehow we separate that in our mind and think that's fine with God. But I'd like for you to show me where that's at in the Word. And I'd like for you to show me that in the message of the hour. As a matter of fact, God and his people in that sense are inseparable. Many people will be lost, not because they didn't believe in the cross, but because they treated God's people in the age they lived bad. Jesus said, when you've done it to the least of these, my brothers, you have done it unto me. So if I was you, I'd be nice to everybody. Of course, I realize everybody ain't got that much kindness. They just got a little bit of it, and they got to really spread it out. I really feel sorry for those types of Christians, but we know there's all kinds of them. Now, notice that Jesus himself, as God, he would have had this attribute of patience in such a measure that you and I will never be able to attain to as an individual. But in the act of condescension when he come to the earth, now it wasn't that he wasn't royal and divine and holy, he was all of that. But what he did was he emptied himself of the measure of all of these things that he had as God and condescended into a form of a diluted or washed down measure of these things that we're talking about. So the Lord Jesus would have experienced patience with the people around him and with his disciples mainly in a more human measure than he would have in a divine measure. Now, he would have dealt with love. He would have dealt with forgiveness. We know that he dealt with temptation in a human level and not at a divine level. Let me say this so you understand it. If Jesus overcomes sexual temptation as God, he can never understand what any of us go through as humans. If he overcome whatever it would be, the prophet said he was tempted by lying, he was tempted by drinking, he was tempted by women, and Paul said he was tempted in all points like as we are. In 1949, the prophet tells us that Jesus suffered sexual temptation, but God cannot be tempted. So if Jesus was tempted as God, he never even felt it. It never bothered him. It never even come into his mind to start in the process of conception of sin. So when I go to him as a high priest, I'm basically wasting my time unless he suffered it as a man. You believe he did?